Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. The Literati challenge. I'm not sure who started it. I think probably Tony. Tony probably started it. But I wanted to join in, and I've been a plonker because nearly all of the work I've done, I hadn't actually pressed record. I went for a break, basically, and as I went to turn the camera off, I thought, it's already off. So we've just done all the work, or the majority of it, and you join me at the sort of final stage. So what I've got is a Scots pine that's probably going to die. So I'm not going to put too much more effort in than this. Why it's going to die is because it came out of the ground with 3 anchor roots and the tiniest amount of feeder roots in the sort of centre of those 3 roots at the base of the trunk, and I mean a tiny amount. Now the problem is, to do the Literati, I've taken off quite a lot of the greenery, and I made that mistake last year with a pine. I took off the greenery, which is basically the solar panels, which would generate a new root system. But if we're going to have a Literati, then, you know, this is what I've decided to do. And it's just finishing touches now. This branch I want low. I wanted this one to come right down here, quite close to the trunk. I put a wire on there just to get some shape into it so that it's not dead straight. So we've got one branch that will come down here, and then we've got a little pad there that's coming on quite nicely, and then one to give it some depth, and a small apex, which is all I wanted. Just a small apex. And the apex is leaning slightly with the angle of the tree. So not too much curvature in the trunk. And I've still got this little bit here to wire because I need the ends of those branches pointing upwards. I need them pointing towards the sun, basically, or they don't work properly. The sun on the underside of needles does nothing. So we will see if we can just tip those ends up. As I said, sorry that you missed most of it, but that's life. That's life in the world of YouTube. Now, first thing I need to do is, that needs to come off. If I'm going to have this as a low pad, and that one's going to come off as well, come to think of it. If I'm going to have a low pad here, I don't want branches halfway up. I want this to come down and be a low pad. So that gives me 4 shoots, 5 shoots. There's double on here, one here, one here, and one here. Gives me 5 shoots to work with. So let's see what we can do. I'm not very good at wiring, that's the problem. It's probably better that you didn't see my attempts. There was some language at times. I'm just not very good at it, especially with pines. I keep pinching the needles. You know, if you know what I mean. I can't seem to guide the wire in between the needles and hold the branch and stop it bending and breaking. All these things all at once. Right, that's that one. And then we'll come down here. I will wire that stem there simply because I can put a curve in it then so that it's not dead straight. Will you go away? Thank you. I'll take this down the main stem. And then the 2 offshoots I can do with another single piece of wire. I've got 2 buds on the end of this, so I'll say that will give me 5, which should do actually. It should actually make for a nice little pad there. Right, so we just got those other 2 to do. Won't need much for that. They only need to be turned in the right direction, really. Somebody's going to moan that they can't see what I'm doing. The trouble is I'm right-handed and I can't really set the camera up on the right. It just doesn't work, that side of me. Well, it would be better obviously being right-handed, but so just give this a little twist. It's only a tiny little shoot, just enough to get down to the tip. Right, now we should be able to turn. Let's get that back where I want it. This one keeps moving. I think the wire's not quite strong enough to hold it. But once I stop pulling and pushing and shoving, it should stay still. Around again. Untangle that load of needles. Right, now you, let's come undone. So you up in the air there. You up in the air there. You can come round underneath, and then you, last one, just turn up there at the end. That's okay. Well, I'm happy with the pad, but I'm still not happy with that branch. I want that tighter to the trunk. That's better. Right, trim the poke you in the eye bits off. Be surprised if you leave these spiky bits sticking out. Be surprised how you lose sight of them because they're black, and you lean in to do something on the tree and stab your eye. You know, it can be quite dangerous. And I found those of you who saw me struggling with my wire cutters, the ends don't meet anymore. So I probably had these about 10 years. They're the only ones I've ever had, and I must have got those early on when I started Bonsai, otherwise what would I have done? You know, just simple things like wiring the, you know, things in the pot. I'd have needed wire cutters for that. Instead of trying to put an S-shape in that, I'm just going to do it as a gentle curve. Turn that bit down, back up again. You go down to join them. Right. Final positioning now. Right, I'll take the camera off and so that you can see what I've actually done. Seasick time. I've got the pine sap all over my hands and then everything sticks to it, doesn't it? Right, so that's what I've got, basically. Got a gentle curve over here, then coming gently towards us, and then gently curving away. I didn't want any abrupt bends on it. I just wanted everything to be gentle about it. No abrupt bends. And then the idea is that I do have a slight pattern here. We've got our low pad here. I'll turn those up a bit more. They need to point towards the sun. And then we've got our branch heading off around there and coming out. That'll make a nice pad there. And then the only pad we've got on that side, just the one. So that's my effort at a Scots pine literati that was literally pulled out of the ground this afternoon. I went to have a look at another tree and that I thought would make a good literati, and I hadn't appreciated it was 4 foot tall, and there wasn't a sensible place to do a trunk chop because most of the foliage was near the top, so I had to just leave that there and try and find something else. And I was almost back to the car and I thought, well, I'm going to go home empty handed here, and then I saw that and I thought, oh, let's have a go, we can do something with that. Right, so I'm going to give that a good water and keep it moist and just hope those feeder roots actually take off. If they don't, it will die. Unfortunately, it's a pine, so we won't know it's dead for about 3 months. Yeah, you're sort of dead but don't know it and don't want to tell anyone. Anyway, that's my effort at a literati. I've just got to put some cut paste on some of the larger branches that I cut off, and then I'm done and it's tea time.